Hello, I'm Michael Cornfield of 720 Strategies. Welcome to this We Work for Health advocacy webinar entitled Be the Message Module and Other Secrets to Successful Public Speaking. Now I turn from the composition of the speech to the rehearsal phase. The big goal here is to make the speech yours. That is, have it reflect your style, taste, and personality. Why? Because while audiences may remember a line and an idea or two from what you say, their biggest takeaway will be an impression of you as a speaker and person. Therefore, the more you can feel comfortable with what you have written, the better you will come across as a knowledgeable and caring representative of the industry. And that is the best message you can deliver. Because then, the audience will associate the industry with a human being. So as you read aloud, expand the parts that make you excited and make you smile. It helps to rehearse in front of a mirror. Conversely, shorten or cut out the passages you've written that don't quite fit you, that you stumble over because you are not sure how to convey them comfortably. As you endeavor to be one with the message, to personify it, I recommend not preparing a PowerPoint slide deck. You want your audience looking at you, not at a screen. Your main purpose in speaking to them live in the same room is not to teach them about a subject matter, which is a purpose well served by slide decks, but rather to involve them in a campaign. You can always hand out educational materials after your speech and refer them to the campaign website, weworkforhealth.org. You have only this speaking opportunity to make an interpersonal connection. So don't work against yourself by bringing along a distracting sight. Now the big day arrives, and it pays to show up early at your speaking venue and size up the room. That will remove one uncertainty, and uncertainty is a cause for speaking anxiety. It will also help you gauge the appropriate energy level you should bring into your performance. This is show business, remember? The more people there are in the room and the bigger the room, the more energy you will need to summon to rise to the occasion without rising too much and seeming pompous. There's that concept of commensurability again. Another benefit of arriving early, you can chat with the event organizer, the host, and one or two early arrivers. This will help you get in a connection-making tenor. It will help you assess the mood, and it might just provide you with a fresh idea for that handshake. You don't want to be free of jitters entirely in public speaking. Some tension is creative and will spur you to give a good performance. Still, you do want to manage your jitters. So here are a few techniques. 1. Learn to pause now and then. It cuts down on rambling. It lets you catch your breath and control your breathing. It gives you a chance to read the room. Last and not least, pausing stirs up suspense for what you will say next. 2. It's okay to read from your text, your prepared remarks at the start, as a sort of a crutch and rhythm establisher, maybe a runway from which you're going to take off. You can squash butterflies just knowing you are going to read one page from your notes. After a bit, however, you want to pause, look up, and continue as best you can without reading, focusing on eye contact. Don't be afraid of leaving out something. You'll remember it if it is that important. Besides, you, as the message, matter more than any point or two or three. 3. Stop to say whatever your intuition and your senses tell you the audience is thinking at a particular moment. A siren goes off, or the room is extremely hot. When you acknowledge a distraction, discomfort, or a funny development, you help seal your bond to the audience. Pause after making your digression, acknowledging the obvious, and then resume. And you may look down at your notes to regain your place. 4. Recover from the inevitable glitch with a smile. No one expects perfection from an amateur public speaker. Quite the contrary. People warm up to speakers who make a mistake, admit it, correct it, and move forward. That's part of the fun of being at a live performance. That's the "we were there" sign of authenticity. All of these points will help you control your understandable jitters and convert them into an asset. The last segment of a standard public speaking engagement is typically Q&A. Q&A is high risk and high reward because it involves extemporaneous speaking, dialogue with people you don't know, and potentially conflict and embarrassment. So it's a good thing Q&A comes last after you have already had a chance to bond with the audience and win them over to you as a person. The basic rules of Q&A are: listen calmly while someone is asking you a question, and then answer it as directly and quickly as possible. On the first point, you don't want to show emotion while someone else is speaking. It's a bit rude and it shows lack of control of the exchange. Wait for the questioner to deliver her entire statement, even if she rambles. Pause and then take charge. Now, when you start to answer, if you don't answer the express question, such as it is, right away, you will lose the attention of some people in the audience. They will start to wonder why you didn't answer the question and stop listening to you closely. So satisfy the urge, however briefly and even vaguely if you must. Then go back to a core message you think pertains to the topic raised by the questioner. You need to prepare for the possibility of a hostile question. The best basic approach to take in that eventuality is to validate the questioner's emotion: anger, fear, confusion. Pick one to articulate without agreeing to the assertion being driven by that emotion. By proceeding this way, you gain control of the Q&A exchange. An appeal to a universal value you cited in a speech module will enhance your stature. An offer to speak with the person afterward to see if there is anything you can do to help will too. Your fallback in this hostile question situation is to remember that you are in charge of how long the exchange lasts. You own the microphone. You can stop anytime you want answering a question, including the very beginning. You can turn back to the moderator and say, "I appreciate that question. I understand the questioner's anger, but I really don't have anything more to say about it than what I've already said." Several things to guard against as you participate in Q&A. Don't speak to hypotheticals. Guesses and speculations have an unhappy and uncanny way of emerging from your session attributed to you as claims of facts which are indeed refutable, and that will detract from your reputation. So don't get pinned into saying something which has to be explained later. You'll never catch up to a hypothetical statement you've uttered, so don't utter them. Next, and for much the same reasons, don't repeat negative messages. While it is often polite and a slight time buyer to repeat a question before answering it, this is the exception to that rule. Instead, you want to reframe negative questions in terms of your core messages. Take it up a level of generalization and say, well, this is a question about access to good health care, instead of repeating the "why I don't have good health care" question. Last, don't use technical terminology unless you immediately explain it. That goes for acronyms, the jargon of policy wonks as well. Well, we've covered a lot in this webinar. Let's close with a review of the highlights. First, event organizers have valuable intel for you, so go get it. Second, a modular approach works well in putting your remarks together as a script. Third, rehearse the script so you can be the message when you speak. Fourth, arrive early to gather more intel and get a head start on calming those inevitable nerves. Fifth, there are several other easy-to-learn techniques to allay the anxiety of public speaking. And sixth, Q&A seals the deal between you and all but the most hostile persons in the audience. Just bear in mind that you, as the invited speaker, start every Q&A exchange with the upper hand. Thank you and good luck. Until next time, I'm Michael Cornfield of 720 Strategies for the We Work for Health campaign.